Hello, everyone. I should be packing. Well, I mean, I am packed, but I think I could pack a little better. Like, I feel like there's stuff missing, or I feel like I'm taking too many bags, but, it's because I want to take books. I had to take a few books. Just a few books, which some of them are here. But anyways, how is everyone doing? I gotta do some updates for you guys. I have not I need to get back into the swing of doing this because I have not been consistent with what I've with everything with this channel and my tarot work and all that. But it's just that I've been like trying like locking in to finding a good 9 to 5, and I still am. But I'm kind of like gonna put that in the back burner right now. I feel I'm like, and I think I'm just gonna focus on going to school and doing this stuff and this and talking with you guys and getting back into it because I'm like I used to be like I can only focus on one, like I can only be in one gear. I can't shift gears as flexible as I wish I could. I feel like when I was like a little kid I used to be able to do that, but as I get older I don't think I can do that anymore. That's old me. This is the new me. But anyways, let's get into some stuff that I've been like interested in, my TBR, what I've read, what I've enjoyed, what I got, what I want to read, what I've been like fiddling with. And let's start off with this. So this right here is Soul Cards 1 and 2. I didn't really use them much because Soul Cards 2, the copy that I got, I believe my memory could be a little fuzzy on this, but I believe my good friend Lucy, I think I bought these from her. I believe. If not, she gifted them to me. I can't remember. Lucy Peralta, love her, love her. She's a good friend of mine. And I believe I want to say she sent these to me. uh, and yeah, I'm like, oh, yes. But the problem is that Soul Cards 2 was like a good, like, millimeter bigger than Soul Cards 1. Like they did not vibe, they did not shuffle well, they didn't vibe well. And so I had to trim them. I had to get a good, like, a nice little chunk of them off. Like either the top or the bottom, and now they fit perfectly. And for such a thick deck of like over 100 cards, because I think each deck is like 50 cards, it shuffles, like I can shuffle it. Like, okay, not an easy shuffle, mind you, but I mean it's not like what's it called? It's not like the Terra Volatile Collector's Edition where it's that thing is, that's, I don't even know how to maneuver that thing. Right? Are they 50 cards? Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh, 60. Oh my god, it's 120 cards. Sorry, mighty. But this deck really is what one would call intuitive. You definitely get this deck and you can just, you read the images for it. And I think this is a good deck for if people want to start reading the cards as just reading images. I think because this is truly what you would call intuitive, or what some would call intuitive reading. But to me, it's like you're just reading the cards. You're just analyzing the art on the image, on the cards, and breaking down what it means to you and what it's evoking to you, rather than looking at it and being like, what does it mean? What's the meaning to it? I'm like, no. Anyways, next up, I'm not sure if I shared this with you guys. I believe I did. I'm not sure. I might have mentioned it in a live stream, but this is a deck I've been like, I think I saw the Kickstarter for it, and I wasn't impressed with it at first. I think I cannot remember, but I know it came out during a time that I was like not really. I think it was like, I think it just got lost in the mud of shitty Kickstarters and like lazy tarot decks being made. I don't know, but this one though, looking at it and seeing the art for it, I was like, oh wait, it's Rider-Waite-Smith. Don't get me wrong, but there's more to it. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know what. Don't ask me like how I overlooked this deck, but I did. And so I'm looking forward to getting the Oracle, and also he has a little charm set that looks really cool. I saw his Instagram video where he like went out and found all the little charms, and they each have like where he found them and what they are, and like it's a cool little video that he does. And so yeah, I really like this. I really like this deck. I haven't used it for any readings yet. I don't think I need to like, ooh, let me sit with the cards a little bit before. Like, I don't think so. I don't think so. But then this, moving on, this right here is a recent acquisition. I think astrological oracles go in hand with like plant decks, and you can get these basic themed oracle decks, and they're really hard to work with because there are things that you actually have to tangibly work with outside of a cartomantic form. Like plants, you kind of got to work with as the actual plants, as the herbology. You know, that's my view, which is why I got a few books on herbalism. I got Cunningham's books on that. But astrology, I've been studying astrology with my friend Lady Knight of Avalon. If you have the chance, go check out her live streams. They're really good. I like what she's doing there. I like that it's... I love it. I love it. I keep missing them. I've only caught a few of them, but I always end up just watching them back, and I was like, ah, damn, why do I keep... But like, they're things that I would love to watch back. But anyways, I wish I was more with the upkeep of watching her content. But anyways, so this is one of the few astrology decks that I've actually like wanted to get my hands on because of this. Now, I'm not a big fan of like the keywords, but that's helpful, especially for the houses. But you see that there's an image on the houses. Now here's house 5, passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity. You see this little bird singing. It's creating. It's what you create, you know. House 7, profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. I like this, you know. I like that you see the image, what the house represents and means in the image of the cards. I am not a big fan of astrology decks that have the houses and it's just the wheel and the house that's highlighted, you know, as like, this is the house, it's this house. And I'm like, show me something. Give me something that represents and depicts what's going on in the house, you know. Give me the vibe of the house, please. You know, give me something to look at, you know. And yeah, so how I'm going to work with this, again, that's the problem. I'm not sure. I read through the guide of it because I was looking at this and I was like, the images are very open. Like, I want to put stuff in these images. Like, I almost like I want to kind of get stickers and put stuff in them, but I don't know what, because I feel like I'd have to have a specific aesthetic of stickers that are really hard to find probably, but I'm pretty sure if I looked I could find something. But there's so much open space, it urges me, it's begging me to put stuff into it, I feel. To, you know, like, except for like cards like this, there's quite a bit of stuff going on here, but like this one, like here's for Pluto, it's just, I don't know, it's asking for something to be put on it. So maybe like a mini deck perhaps, maybe like the Mesquite Tarot or my Rosetta Tarot, the mini Rosetta Tarot or the Tabula Mundi. Any mini deck really, maybe, or a mini oracle deck could work with these, because I feel like they're supposed to be maybe like, it might be like maybe a spread engine perhaps, you know, maybe, but yeah, I first saw this deck on Tarot Maps YouTube, I think, and I saw it and I was like, that looks interesting. I like the aesthetics. And then my friend Lady and I also had a copy and I was jealous, and just over time I kept meaning to pick up a copy, and now I finally did. So anyways, moving on, let's see. I don't know how to do, oh no, what card fell off? My elbow knocked over the 5 of Cups. Disappointment. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but we're gonna ignore that. We're not talking to you right now, okay? Please. um, so let's start off with the books that I finished. I only finished so far 3 books recently. I think I don't know when I finished these, like from December to through January, I want to say. I kind of got in a little bit of a reading slump, but reading this book right here, Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan, I heard really good things about it. I was like, oh, she's small, and I read it through it. It was like after, I think it was after New Year. I think, yeah, it was like start of January. It was cold. It matched the theme, and it's a very like, it's a sad little novel. I don't like the wife. I'll say that right now. At the end of, like, after reading this book, I was like, girl, don't talk to him like that. I haven't seen the movie yet. Apparently there's a movie, by the way. And I don't know how good it is, but it is starring, oh my gosh, Oppenheimer. What's his name? And I was like, oh, fine. He was in Oppenheimer and Peaky Blinders. And I think he was also in a lot. He's in a lot of, I think, in a lot of Christopher Nolan movies, I think. Right? No, I could be wrong. No, I'm confusing him with someone else. No, yes, yes. Yes, he's Scarecrow in Batman, I think. Yeah, and he plays the main character. And yeah, this I want to get her other books that are available because I really liked this. I really liked how light it was, but also like it's definitely like a what would you do with John Quinones, you know, and yeah, and I might reread it because I feel like I was like I'm probably if I reread it I probably get something from it, and it's small enough to where it welcomes that. I think I might do it every winter, maybe, but who knows? There's so much I have to read that I'm like I can't justify rereading a book at the moment. So yeah, which you'll see right now in my TBR list. Then the next book that I read was Diavola by Jennifer Thorne, and I enjoyed this book. Another one that I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I should approach this within a different mindset because there was like a character relationship with her, with the main character and her twin brother that I kind of like, I think I misread or I misinterpreted, because I'm like, huh. I was like, interesting. I'm like, did he deserve that ending? Did he deserve that? Because I didn't really see much that was problematic with him. But at the end of the day, I think it's because he didn't support her. And like, he wanted to be with her so much, but didn't, when push came to shove, he didn't have her back. He wanted to be on her back, but didn't have her back. Does that make sense? Am I making sense here? It's nothing weird, but point is, it's toxic family dynamics meets haunted Airbnb. And let me tell you, I was not expecting this book to go as far as it did, but it went there. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh damn. Oh damn. I was like, oh shit. And I also loved how witchy it got at the end. I was like, oh yes. Oh yes, you know, I can't, I've never seen Futurama, but I know the clip of, you know, I want to be a witch. And she literally goes on her, you know, she's like, I just got a book on, let me find the part. I'm like, this is very relatable right now to how any occult, woo-woo person kind of has to go through here. Yeah, it was this part. She's like, we're being haunted here. And she's all like, while she was at it, she bought a few secondhand books, one on Italian Florentine families, another about the work of Jacopo Celaio. Oh, sorry, my Italian is terrible. A third on Stregoneria, was too niche to still be in print and would take too long to track down, but Anna wanted it. Luckily, it was old enough to be on Project Gutenberg, so she bookmarked it and for later pursual on her cell phone. And then, like, she, you know, I'm like, I resonated with that. You're like, there's books I need to read, there's books I want, but they're too niche. They're too weird. How do I find them? And so, yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the book. I, I, I don't know what I expected else from it, but I liked it enough. I liked it enough. I think it's one that will stay in my library. I will say that. That's how I judge a good book. Is it staying on my shelves, or can I do without it? Can I move it along? And so far, I really enjoyed this one. I liked it. I was surprised. I was like, yes, yes. It took a bit for me to get into it, but I think it's because I was getting into a reading slump, and then small things like these. Sorry, did you catch that on the mic? I just burped. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Diavola, I enjoyed it. It gets dark. I did not expect them to do that. I thought something else happened. I was like, oh, they did that. Okay. Okay. Next we have, I'm not sure if this was his most recent book. Because I know right now he's certainly, this was his, no, right? No, I think, How to Sell a Haunted House was his newest book, and I got, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and this was the one that I read in getting ready for that, and of course, as any Grady Hendrix novel, it reads really quick. That being said, the format of the book also makes it like it's not like pages on pages of text, like you're gonna get pages like this, and this is also very fun. These are fun to read when he throws these into there, and it's a wild ride. At the start I was like, whoa, where's this going? Whoa. And I'm like, whoa, don't pump the brakes, and it goes and it gets going, and it's not his best work. I think it's definitely let's see, did I like it more? I don't know. It's definitely like you either have really good Grady Hendrix, which is like Southern Book Club, Best Friend's Exorcist, and We Sold Our Souls. I loved We Sold Our Souls. That's my current favorite, and this one is like We Sold Our Souls, but different. Like there's a familiarity between the two. They're very similar, but this one doesn't hit the same like hopeful stride at the end. I will say right now though, I want to know more about the Dream King in this book. And Grady Hendrix likes to tease. I will say that there's things in there that I'm like, are we gonna get a sequel? Is there gonna be a follow-up? Can we have some more in-depth things here? But I think I like that more. I like to be teased. I like to want more. Not to be disappointed. Five of Cups here, okay? But to, like, again, I'm talking plainly about the Dream King, because I'm like, wait, what the fuck happened there? Like, nobody talks about it, but I'm pretty sure it's like, I'm like, wait, was this supposed to be like, is there like magic in this world? Is there supernatural powers in this world? Because I know in We Sold Our Souls, yes, absolutely. I mean, it's in the name. But this one too. Also, I want to know, Grady Hendrix, do they all take place in the same story? Do they, right? I also want him to revisit Horror Store. I want him to go back. I want him to do a sequel. Do a sequel, Grady. But so far, I think he's doing good. I don't think I've ever been let down by a Grady Hendrix novel. I think so far, I think this is above. This is much better than Horror Store and How to Sell a Haunted House. But I don't know. There's something. I don't know what to say. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. But it's still not a disappointment. I'd give it a what would be a good one? 7.5 out of 10. I think is a good number rating to kind of estimate where it is. It's definitely much better than other things that I read, and it definitely keeps me entertained. If you can get me to finish your book, already you've got me locked in. You've got me sold. Which, speaking of, I did not finish a book, and I don't know if I'll pick it up and finish it. Wicked. I have it. I don't want to get up and get it from the shelf. That's how much I do not care about it. Like, I think I'll just watch the play or the movie, and I'll leave it at that. Because I'm reading it and it's just really just plot convenience after plot convenience. I was like, oh, so we're just going to Emerald City now. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, well, here we go. I just feel like we could have done something better, I feel like there could be better writing. Anyways, currently, what I'm reading right now, is Monstrilio. I am loving this book. It's kind of like matching up with another, book, by, that's like Mexican focused, kind of. There's a Mexican focus here. It's obviously like Mexican author set in Mexico, but also in Berlin. But House of the Scorpion is what I'm talking about. House of the Scorpion, a fantastic book, and I see a lot of similarities between the two. But where House of the Scorpion is definitely purely focused on the the character that pushes the boundaries of humanity, which, Mateo Alacran is a human. Like, he's a human person. He is his own person. Monstrilio, it definitely pushes that. And I love how radical the characters are in their love for Monstrilio Santiago. It's I don't know what to call him. I don't want to call him Santiago because he's not Santiago, but he is Monstrilio. But I feel like he deserves a better name. And I guess it is, like this. Lauren Puckett Puppet, when she said a modern Frankenstein, I'm like, yes, this is a modern Frankenstein. Yes. I'm almost done with it. I'm right here. And I love it. I love it. And I also mostly because of like it being recommended by a lot of horror novel people online, recommending it, and also the cover. Can we talk about this cover? Look at the cover. The right shapes, the colorful shapes, and then the little demon monster right here. It's Monstrilio. I'm like, he looks like this to me in the book, even though he's supposed to look like a human boy. But I'm like, he looks like that to me. I don't know why, and I like him. I like him like this. I prefer him this way. And there really is a lot of unconditional love in this book, but it's also like there's also like people still not processing through their grief, and that's like the driving force behind this book. So yeah, I'll probably have more fleshed out thoughts when I get to the last part, because the last part takes place, it's through Monstrilio's perspective, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm like, how are we doing this, with I'm like, how long has it been? And he's like, he's 18 years old. I'm like, how is he 18 years old? Has it really been that long? And it's like, and then there's that, it's been 7 years. I'm like, oh, so he's just aging really fast. So yeah, and I'm like, well, we'll see. And they say it's not going to have a happy ending, but I hope there's a happy ending, because there's a lot of things that happen in this book that I'm like, oh, in another book, it'd be much more pessimistic. Like, Monstrilio does things that other people would like not have it, but there's a lot of forgiveness for him, because I think they all understand this is a little monster. It's in his nature almost. And to punish him and try and force him into not being that, it's cruel to him, I like it. It definitely doesn't go into the like vampires with Twilight, where they're like, we only eat animals and drink the blood of animals and all that, and they're vegetarian because they don't eat humans. But there's like, it's weird. I'll probably have more fleshed out thoughts on it when I finish it, which I'll probably finish it right after I get off here, because I'm like, I'm traveling. I don't want to take this book with me on the train. I'm like, I'm finished it. I would like to read a book that's on the train and finish it on the train or whatever, because I'm traveling for like a whole solid day. But yeah, and I will say that I thought the book would be, I thought it would take me a bit longer to read, but its pacing is really good, and it keeps things moving. Cordova doesn't stay in. Did you hear that English pronunciation? I'm so sorry. Cordova really keeps it going and is like, you know what, this is where we're at. You know what? Let's go on. Let's move on. Let's carry on. Let's not dwell on this, you know? And it misses a bit of what horror kind of does sometimes, and that's where like the emotional dwelling on things is there. Like, of course, that happens in this book. We do see that with like Joseph and Magos and their grief. Um, but you know, it doesn't overstay its welcome. I'll say that. You know, I'm like, I'm making it sound like it's a bad book, but no, it's a really good book, and I'm ready for the next one. I don't know what he's gonna put out next, if he does, but this is great. Maybe a little short story collection. I'm really getting into short story collections, which we'll get into in a bit right now. So yeah, I'm almost done with Monsterilio, and I'm really enjoying that. Now let's go on to, let's see what else that I'm reading currently as well. Us by Terrence Real, getting past you and me to build a more loving relationship. There is definitely, like, if you want a book, I'm gonna say this is shadow work adjacent, you know, and I think it's more so how we work with our egos and our what does he call it, our adaptive children. I'm like, the adaptive child, the adaptive child, right? Is that what it's called? Is that what he calls it? I'm like, I said, I read it and I know what, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Where's that little chart? What's it called? What's it called? I want to say it's called the adaptive child. Yeah, the adaptive child versus the wise adult, you know, and I think the adaptive child is definitely like, ego is our ego, you know, and hearing the descriptions of how he describes the adaptive child, it reminds me of the shadow work course that Natalia from Ouroboros describes, of the ego reacting. Like, she says, like, the ego is like the king or the police officer that monitors everything and doesn't like change and stuff like that. But I'm like, well, honestly, it's kind of like like the adaptive child as well. Like, they don't really like. I'm seeing a lot of similarities between them. And this is really, just off of this so far, I'm like, okay, yes. And he is the author of, well, he says the best-selling author of New Rules of Marriage. I'm like, well, I want to read his book, How Can I Get Through to You? Which yeah, How Can I Get Through to You? Which is like more focused on patriarchy and toxic masculinity and how we raise our boys to in that vein, and how, you know, and all that. It touches on all that. And here, this though is more focused on relationships, and I like it. I love it so far, and I wanted to read this so I can get some ideas and tips and tricks, so that I could work with more. When it comes to being a tarot reader, you get a lot of relationship readings and a lot of readings focused on relationships and all that, but usually it's not as in depth as this. But I feel like I could get something that could help me to give better advice to people, you know, and also for myself and the relationship that I'm in. So yeah. Moving on. I've also started my, I don't know how to call this. I guess, I guess queering the tarot, making the tarot more progressive, I guess. I don't know how to describe what I'm working with working with these decks, but I guess it's decolonizing, patriarchalizing. I don't know if that's the word. The tarot, essentially, or doing that work with the tarot, you know, and that is these three books, which I kind of mentioned before. Red Tarot by Christopher Marmolejo. This book is definitely a much more like, it's honestly on the same reading level as no, it's not as annoying as Crowley or Dion Fortune, But I think I'd put it on the level of what's it called? Tarot Meditations by Valentin Tomberg, or Anonymous. Who knows if it was really him? It was him. But it's definitely much more of an academic level. It's definitely a much more advanced read. There's the how he writes is very, it's not super easy to digest. It doesn't, the information, you really gotta take your time. You might want to get a dictionary uh, with this one. I will say it's not beginner friendly, and that is what I want. I want something that's really gonna actually stimulate your brain. That being said, my social media wired brain now has definitely been damaged to the point to where I cannot like really sit down and read a book like this comfortably. But I am taking chunks of it apart. Like I read the introduction and I read up on the magician. I'm skip he does the numerology thing of like it goes one with the wheel like you see here with the I will say it's a choice to put the pages here with the ones and the queens with the two. I think he puts the knights, yeah, with the sevens. I'm like, I'm gonna have to see why he puts the knights at the seven. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But right now I'm at the magician and the aces. I might do the pages. The pages have been like just popping up for me, and I'm like, I've fallen out of touch with the pages in the tarot, and so I'm like, I think it's time to refresh my memory on that. So I think I will end up throwing in the pages in this study with this. So yeah, I read it. I'm liking it so far. I really like what he's saying. It's definitely, I will say this. I'm not a fan of Querying the Tarot. I appreciate for what it did. I think it broke the boundary or the barrier that people said like, oh, we like for some reason we can't have a book like this. And I'm like, wait, you do realize that like a lot of tarot readers are queer people, right? Like, anyways. So yeah, this, and along with this here, much better than Querying the Tarot. Not as advanced, I'd say, and heady as Red Tarot, but still really good. Just off of like, again, the introduction and the and just like reading from what I read on the Magician so far. I skipped over the Fool because I'm gonna go at it at a different way, but I did like what Burgess says in this book. It's what we need. I think. I think if you, I because I was really really disappointed in Querying the Tarot, because that book, as it's not what it's advertising itself to be. This and this absolutely are advertising, like what they are is what they're advertising themselves as. Querying the Tarot, it really should be more so like the activist tarot guidebook, I think, is what that book is. This is a book that is definitely, and the title Tarot for the Hard Work, I'm like, yeah, and maybe I shouldn't make it so daunting for me to call it hard work. But so far I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, we got it. There's stuff I gotta do. There's stuff I really gotta look into. And this is, I like it so far. I like it so far. Though I will say I'm reading these first, and then I go here for like the workbook stuff. But reading some of the meanings of it, it's just an unfortunate thing of how I'm reading this. It's kind of like, okay, I'm kind of like reading this. I'm hearing a lot of like repetition here. It's not this book's fault. This is still really good. It's just how I'm reading. I'm like, okay, I already heard all this, but I want to. This is what I'm liking, the actual working with the stuff. What I would like though is more so a book that's gonna help me do more maybe spreads and working with the tarot as it. But this is still much more important. There's a lot to do. And so I'm yeah, I like it so far. I'm like, yes, give me something to do. I can only take in meanings and theories, and for so much I want to put this into practice, which is really what I'm starting to look for in a lot of my tarot books and stuff like that. Like like what can I do with this? What should I do with that? You know, like what, like yes, you've told me this, but I want to do something with it. I'm like, take action, be the magician. You know, I can only be the acolyte of the Hierophant so much. I need to actually go out and do. You know, and so this is why I got this book by Ethany Dawn. I think Ethany Dawn is definitely up there with a lot of the tarot girlies on YouTube, with like Benabel Wen and who else? I don't know who else. But I read this. I read The Fool, I believe. Right? Did I read The Fool? Did I read on The Fool? Or did I read The Magician? I think I skipped The Fool because this is what I've been doing. You know, I go with The Magician first. No, I did read The Fool. And I like it. I like this, like have faith, charm, the reading that, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can try that. And I like the spreads with it. Give me spreads. Give me different spreads to do with this. Things to do. I want things to do with it, which is why I really liked Tarot for Yourself by Mary Kay Greer. Again, a great book. I think every beginner should have it. But this, I'm like, yes, give me things to do with it. And I want to tie it in with, again, Radical Tarot and Rad Tarot and Tarot for the Hard Work, and tie it all together. But this is also going into a path that I want to start going into, but I'm like, I feel like I was kind of going in it the wrong way, or I need a good beginner thing. And I think this is a good bridge for that. And that's doing spells and shit. Actually taking on attempting some practical magic. Is it practical magic? Actual spells, something, charms and talismans and shit like that, you know. So yeah, and reading through it, I'm like, yeah, okay. Meaning wise, I'm like, no, you're not coming to this book for tarot meanings, which is good. Like, it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, here, okay, good. Let's actually get to the work. Okay. Yes, give me stuff to do. So if you want stuff to do with it, this is a good book for that. Same with like how Tarot Wisdom was with its spread. That's why I really liked Tarot Wisdom, was the spreads for each of the cards. So yeah. So I got that. Then I got these two books, some astrology books. Use Your Planets Wisely by Jennifer Freed. I kind of got this a little bit late because I've to what I'm doing with astrology right now with my friend Lady Night. We do our own little weekly private study. And I got this book while we got to the planet Saturn, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should have. But what I like is that not only is there, of course, your typical meanings with like the meaning of it, it goes into the myth, how to view it, you know, but also through the signs, but it goes through like primitive Saturn and Aries, and then adaptive, and then evolving, like the different forms of it, where it's like, oh, here's where you're like, okay, this is where we're having some things that you need to work on, versus things that you're like, oh, this is the best way that this planet shows up, even in places where people will say like, oh, so this planet is in fall or is in detriment, you know. It really helps with that. Now, unfortunately, it is only just the planets in each of the signs, and it doesn't talk about real sky or anything like that. But what I do like though also is this right here. Just on the table of contents, the meanings are here. Love that. Might seem a little bit like, okay, what are we? But this is a good reference book, and I think a lot of people should have this in their toolkit for learning astrology. So far, I like it. So far. So yeah, and I think it also has Chiron and Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, and I think yeah. So yeah. Anyways, really like it so far. Reading it, not too hard. Not what it gives. I like it, and it also does. What else? Where is it? Yeah, practices here, like what you can do, and then talking circle questions, which of course, when there's questions, I'm going to use a tarot reading on it. I'm going to do a tarot reading on it. And so I want to do that with it. And then I got this, Healing Burnout with Astrology and Tarot. Now, I don't feel like I get burnout because I'm a very lazy person. Or maybe I do and I don't realize I do. But I don't feel like I go above and beyond like a lot of hardworking people do. Like, I know a lot of y'all motherfuckers be doing the most, okay? And I'm jealous. What can I say? I wish I was a go-getter like y'all, but I'm just not. And I wish I was better. I don't know why. But I thought it was just this, and then I saw the subtitle, Through the Decans of the Zodiac. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. Cut the cameras. And then I opened it. Exercises? What? And then, where are they? Spreads? Oh, it looks like a Celtic cross here. But, more spreads? What? For each of the decans. So this will be used in March, in the coming Aries season, when the decan walk starts again. I will try. I don't know how good I'll do it. I don't know how great I'll be at it. We'll see. I don't know. We're gonna see what's up with what, you know. We're gonna see how it goes. You know, I don't wanna. I'm sometimes good at it, but at the end of the day, I just ran through the decan walks every time. So yeah. Next, I got something that I'm not common with. The last book that I got like this was Florence and the Machine's, what was it? Useless Magic? Is that what she called it? I don't know where I put the book. I don't see it. Where is she? She's somewhere. She's somewhere up there. I know she is, but she has some poetry in there, and poetry I don't really go into, but reading some poems from Our Share of Night by what's her name? I have her short stories here. Mariana Enriquez. She in that book, she always shows poems from Yeats. Yeats? Is it Yeats or is it Yeats? Isn't it like yeah William? William, please. How do you pronounce your last name? But this is more so like the Yeats that's to the common man. But I want to get, and I thought what was in here was going to be what was in Black Letter Press's books. And so I was like, okay, I'll get this, and I don't need to get that. I looked at the Black Letter Press books again, and I was like, oh, wait. Okay, but I'm going to start here. I'm going to read through his poems and his poetry, and I'm going to give it a try. Now, I'm not well-versed in reading poetry. I am not, comfortable with it. You know, I some of it may go over my head, but his stuff gets a little woo-woo, occult, alchemical, ritualistic, you know, and that's what I want. Let's go into it. Let's get into the symbolism here, okay? And so, yeah, that's why I got it. So I don't know how I'll tackle this book, but I mean, they're just poems. So I'm like, some of them are long, but I mean, like, I think I'll go at it like I do with my short story books, which, going on here, we have, speaking of Mariana Enriquez, A Sunny Place for Shady People. So what I usually do is I'll like, if it's a particularly heavy book or a book that I feel like I need to take a break from, so every now and then, getting up the short story and reading through it really helps. I really was enjoying his book. Just recently became a TV show. I think it's called Teacup, but I think it's called Stinger. I could be wrong, but it's let me see. Let me get it here. Oh gosh, where is it? This one here. Yeah, Robert McCammon's Blue World. I've been reading his short stories from here. He's definitely like, I feel like he's at the same caliber of Stephen King. And I feel like he may have been in his shadow. Maybe. I don't know. But I really like the stories in here. Very simple, not really doing anything new. But sometimes I want to get weird. Let's get weird. I want to get different. I want to get weird, which goes into like some of the horror books that I do want to get into. But yeah, and so I got this here, which because I really enjoyed Our Share of Night, and I'm like, and a collection of short stories. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Yes. And a part of me wants to read her work in Spanish, but I'm such a no sabo kid that I don't. I'm like, no, I'll just stay with that. The next book. Oh, this is a book that I'm reading. Actually, I'm not actually. I'm not going to get to this book yet because I'm reading through Mystery Lights by Lena Valencia. And this so far, I'm going to call it feminist horror because it's definitely like, oh, I'm just getting a taste of what horror and fear, real fear, that women go through all the time throughout their lives in this book here. And I like how it's written so far. I read again. That's what, yeah, You Can Never Be Too Sure, and Dogs. I was like, oh, so that's what it's about, and yeah. Now I don't know if all the stories are going to be like that, like this so far, but so far the first two were. And I also got it because I saw Kelly Link, gave it a little, a little review here, and I really enjoyed Kelly Link's White Cat, Black Dog, that collection of short stories. Really loved those short stories, and that really got me into reading short stories. Then moving on to some horror novels that are on my TBR, right? What else? No. Let's I forgot one book. This massive book that I had on the side that I was like, wait. And I got it for I think I got it for much cheaper than what it was for sale. Because I did not pay the sticker price on this because Barnes & Noble had it for sale. I don't know if it's still I don't know. But it's The Moon and Serpent, Bumper Book of Magic by Alan Moore and Stephen Moore. No relation. But Alan Moore, he's a big guy in magic, and I want to read Promethea, but I'm not in the mood for graphic novels at the moment. And so yeah, there's a lot in this book that I can't really show. I mean, let me see if I can find something. Yeah, I mean, there's some things, but beautiful illustrations. And it's a book that you can just like flip through and like look through. But there are times where I think this might be a little daunting for some people to see this. But I have yet to read through it myself. So I don't know how like difficult it will be to read a book like this. I don't want to show too much because some of it can be very NSFW, even though you probably saw a glimpse of it through the little peek through there. But yeah, I'm gonna say it's like I think this is a book that's right up there with Robert Place's Magic, Alchemy, Hermeticism, Neoplatonism. I think I would say I'd put it in hand with that one. Just sans a deep dive into tarot. I don't think you're gonna get tarot in here, but you're not gonna get a lot of tarot, but you are gonna get a lot of ceremonial magic in that. So yeah. Now, where was I? Back to the horror. Lone Women by Victor Lavalle. Loved The Changeling. Enjoyed The Devil in Silver. So I'm ready to read the next one. I can't wait to see what else he has in store. I don't know what we're gonna get with this one. Well, I do know. I read the back, but I'm like, okay, but I know. It's all I know is that about the steamer trunk, and wherever she goes, it's locked at all times because when the trunk opens, people around Adelaide start to disappear. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. Then I got this book here, The Grip of It, by Jack Jemsey. How would you pronounce your name? Jack, how do you pronounce that? But anyways, haunted house story. And I'm like this publisher tends to do really weird horror, I feel. So I'm like, and I keep seeing the cover and I'm like, oh, I would love to read it. When I'm like, so I'm like, I'm gonna give it a try just because of the cover. And this is a book that I also have heard. I've been wanting to get my hands on, and I've been meaning to get my hands on so much, but I haven't until now. And that's The Between by Tanarive Do, right? Is that how you pronounce it? I know there's a place where it says how you can pronounce her name. I don't know where. Tananarive Tananarive Do. Yeah, Tananarive Do. Okay, there we go. I missed a na in there. Um, yeah, and this was always recommended again with the within the horror online sphere, and yeah, and the idea seeing it sounds very very trippy, almost in line with again, like it reminds me of maybe because the word between is in the same, but This Thing Between Us. That was a wild horror novel, and I enjoyed reading that one. My cousin has it at the moment. I don't know if she's read it, but I did like the descriptions of grief in there, of the venting of loss in that book, which is different from Monstrillo. But I'll get into that when I finish Monstrillo and I talk about it. But this one, yeah, where is it? Yeah, when Hilton was a boy, his grandmother sacrificed her life to save him from drowning. 30 years later, he begins to suspect that he was never meant to survive that accident and that dark forces are working to rectify that mistake. Is it gonna be, what's it called? Uh, oh my gosh, Final Destination? I hope not. I hope we get something a little weirder. Give me something weird, like this. Richard Thomas's Incarnate. Which is about Sebastian Pana, is a sin eater, a shaman-like figure who can absolve the dead of their transgressions before they move on to the afterlife. But when a tear in the fabric of reality allows hideous beasts to invade the small Arctic town he calls home, Sebastian must wage battle with them, and the only way he knows how, by unleashing the powers of sin itself. Thus, the stage is set for an epic confrontation between the forces of good and evil, in which a mother monster strives to save the dying land around her. And a young Inuit boy, haunted by Sebastian's fate, risks everything to forge a new way forward for the desperate vestiges of humanity. As an obliterating darkness descends from the frozen mountain, this profoundly redemptive tale will build toward a climactic showdown in which nature and the supernatural collide with the eternal quest for healing and forgiveness. I'm like, let's see. Let's get weird. Let's do it. And it honestly kind of reminds me of what's it called? Moon of the Crusted Snow. It's giving a little bit of that, though Moon of the Crusted Snow is more grounded in reality. It's more human, man versus nature, you know? Then I got this book, and reading the back of it made me chuckle, made me laugh out loud. So I'm like, okay, I gotta give this a try. And that's The Cabinet by Eun-Soo Kim. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I'm so sorry. But it sounds interesting. I'm going to give it a try. We'll see. And this isn't horror, but it is fantasy. And there was a few other fantasy books that I wanted to get, but I was like, no, we're going to leave it at that. What else? Okay, and so what I am going to take, though, to read on the train, because those books, I'm like, I'll get to these books eventually. And you guys are probably like, I think that's too much, Zach. I'm like, I'll get to them. I'm getting through them. Trust, I'm reading. Trust. As an unemployed person with very few, that's only doing Uber Eats at the moment, I got a lot of free time on my hands, okay? Okay, just wait. That is until I go to college, so, you know, bear that in mind. But anyways, this I am, like, actually excited for, because Ethany Dawn, I'm going to blame Ethany Dawn for making me slowly turn into a witch, into a woo-woo person, but this is also going to lend me into it, I feel. This is what I'm going to read here. Earth Power, Techniques of Natural Magic by Scott Cunningham. Small. I hope I'm like, okay, this seems more hands-on. And they say that you should really work on like the psychic, spiritual, internal self so far, but I feel like I feel like that's my ADD and my I need things to do. You know, that I need to do things. I want to try out the things to do things with to do. You know what I mean? And this book, I think, is giving me some things to try. Something that isn't so uh, difficult to do. You know, it doesn't seem like I'm gonna be struggling with it. We'll see. This is just from my perspective. I liked what he writes in his books on herbalism. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try this first before I go deep dive into herbalism, because that seems more hands-on, practical. You know, I want to try things out that's gonna not be so one tricky for me to manage, two that isn't gonna like backfire too disastrously. You know, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, or if it does backfire, the damage won't be too bad. But you know, we learn through mistakes, so I shouldn't be afraid to mess up, but I also don't want to do any damage unintentionally, you know, through doing this stuff. So yeah, you see, it took, how long did it take? What, 10 years? From getting my first tarot deck to getting my first a few books on actually wanting to practice some spells and charms and shit. So yeah, carrying on with the horror, I talked about Grady Hendrix's book, and here I have it, the Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, about these women in that go to this home when they get pregnant, and so it's like I think it takes place in the 70s. Yeah, uh, yeah. At the, let's see, the Wellwood House in St. Augustine, Florida, where unwed mothers are hidden by their families to have their babies in secret, to give them up for adoption, and most important of all, to forget any of it ever happened. I'm like, yes. I'm ready to see what we get with this. I wonder if he'll mention his other books in this. It is canon. He did confirm that, not this book, but Best Friend's Exorcism, and Southern Book Club both take place in the same universe. I wonder if this also does that, but I don't know. He doesn't say. He rarely does, and I feel like he can make this into a cinematic universe. I think he does, and he doesn't need to, because these books are great and fantastic standing on their own. And it would be very difficult for some to bridge over and connect as one, especially with books like with his book We Sold Our Souls. That one's much more apocalyptic. But I wonder what we're gonna get with this one. Is there a reader's guide? I wonder. I don't think so. No, just an afterword and acknowledgements. Okay. You know, and this was a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I'm a little disappointed, Barnes & Noble. I mean, just basic white insert. I mean, I guess, but yeah. Anyways, I'm really excited to read it. I'm sure I'm like, I will cry if I get disappointed by this book. Because I'm like, even in his worst, he's still a good author. Then the next book I got, just because it's touting itself to be fast paced, and I'm like, okay, The Outsider was fast paced, Monstrillo is kind of fast paced, and so is Grady Hendrix's books are being fast paced, and I hope this one is too. A Mask of Flies, which is about a bank robbery going wrong, and they go to this cabin in the mountains that's hidden from everything, and it's haunted because it's the author, because it's the one of the robbers. It's their family's cabin, and they get and the past trauma comes through, and then they also have a police officer with them, and it's like that they're taking hostage. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be wild. Let's go. Let's see. And again, I'm also starting to note the reputation of certain publishers for quality of the book. So like Nightfire, I liked Mary. I liked Diavola, and I don't know what else. What other books did I read that I liked by Nightfire? But they when I see a good publisher, I'm like, I know. So same with this. I'm like a label whore, you know, but with publishers. Uh, Picador MCD, which is by the same people published In the Grip of It and Annihilation and by Jeff Vandermeer. And this, I'm like, the cover stood out to me. I really liked this cover, The Hollow Kind by Andy Davidson. I'm like, we'll see if I can, but these, and it's supposed to be a Southern Gothic horror. So we'll see what we get with it. It is a longer book, so I may, depending on how it's paced, I may end up like doing like, oh, a few chapters and then read a short story, you know, and I might have to do that with these because I know for a fact I I I have expectations for this book. I have expectations, so it's set up for disappointment. Grady. I haven't heard anything bad from it yet. But I don't want to be I don't want to be disappointed because I love his book so far. So yeah, anyways, these four are what I'm going to be taking with me on my train ride. And so I don't know if I'll even finish one of them. I was thinking maybe some shorter novels because the last books on my one of the books on one of my trips, I went I took library books. I think I took Tad Williams one of Tad Williams' books, which if I'm going to get back into the fantasy, I'm going to get Tad Williams' books because I started reading, I was like, oh, I'm like into this. But I also want to continue Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive. But those are just so, I'm like, oh, they're so big. But, you know, size has never deterred me from anything. But I am starting to appreciate the smaller things. Like I am itching to pick these up and I want to kind of take these with me because I feel like I could finish them on the bus. But I think I'm just going to take these. I think and I'll be fine. I'll be fine with that, you know. I kind of want to take maybe one of the short story books like I said, but if I do it'll probably be this. So anyways, continuing on to this, almost now we're over an hour long, but I'm like, hey, I like books. I've been reading a lot. I've been going through them, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. But on the side of that, I think I want to talk about something that's been going on that a lot of people have been going through, and that I've really been like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And that's it with the, and this is like, you can stop watching here if you don't want to hear this because yeah, you if you want an escape from it, that's why I did all this first. You can stop here. But I want to also address it here because because of who I am and my background and where I'm from and what is going on with this country right now, I am not happy. I am not pleased. I am not comfortable. Okay? I am getting ready to pack my bags and dip if things turn bad. Because they are trying some shit in this country. Okay? In this shit ass country, like, and I don't have the right words formulated yet, but I'm exhausted. And as I said with my other stuff, I want to take action. And I think we really do need to start taking more direct action to see change here. I think and this is like one, anger and fury and annoyance and exhaustion towards the Republican Party. But I'm also furious with the Democrats as well. And being so out of touch and dropping the fucking ball. And they're not doing anything. And they're not quiet. And now it's like, what can we do? What do we do? What am I going to do? What are we going to do? I'm seeing changes that it's not pretty. It's not pretty here. And I don't know what we can do. And the only solace that I've been taking from the shout out to this one channel that has been like, honestly, really, I'm like, thank God I'm subscribed to her. She is really good. And I started finally reading. Finally, I read through like a good chunk of the introduction and the first few chapters of her book. Let me get it. Lisa Tishman from Mindful Tarot. When I tell you, her channel has really given me a sense of respite, a sense of like calm, like, wait a minute, this is where we're at, yes, but let's relax here, okay? Let's take a minute here. You know, she's really a calming, soothing, like cool glass of fresh water in like the tumultuous political climate that we're in right now, you know, and she's with her wobble readings that she's been doing, and it's really helped at least ease some of it. But that being said, I'm still ready to take some action. You know, when's the revolution? I think it's happening soon. But I think this though helps me stay focused, aware, calm, and her channel has really been a beacon in this so far in the year so far. I mean, it's barely February. It's barely February, and I'm like, what can we do? And so I'm ready to see that, because I'm like, I've been reading this, and I was kind of wanting to work with this with Red Tarot and Radical Tarot and Tarot for the Hard Work as well. But I think this is kind of, I think I'm gonna have to do something else with this. But it really is, it's helping. I'll say that. And her videos have been really great for the time being, and she's really like, keep up the good work, Lisa. If you're watching this, girl, keep it up. Love what you're doing. Love what you're doing. Keep it up, please. So yeah, and I'll probably be reading this after I finish On Strilio. So yeah. Oh, and to round it all off, I got this little thing. Shout out to Five Below. Back to consumerist things that I bought. This here, the Tarot 78 card deck. I'm not gonna read with this, but I do want to use it as a little talisman charm thing, maybe, as like a thing to carry out. Like if I'm probably gonna put, if I want to be more secure with my money and my security with finances or something, I'll probably put the little Four of Pentacles in my wallet, you know. If I'm looking for, or if I'm using maybe, or if I want maybe some protection or something, maybe the Nine of Wands. If I'm looking for, let's see what else. I don't know what else. And then and it's a nice little deck, and it's not ugly. It's not just the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is cool, but these are really cool little ones. This is an interesting tower, which I don't know why it looks like this. But I'm like, I'm gonna see, and I may do something else with this, but as it is, I think I am gonna keep it as a little talisman thing, or for science and knowledge and study. I might use the Six of Swords, or for travel as well, the Six of Swords. I'm for sure gonna put the Eight of Wands in my little bags, in one of my travel bags, to help me when I travel. So yeah. This was, and it's small and it's portable, and you can put it on a keychain, and yeah, so I found a nice little find at Five Below. I was like, oh, and they had like a bunch of other decks too there. I was like, what are we, Five Below, what's up? But they also had like incense and crystals, and I'm like, where did you source this, Five Below? Probably not ethically sourced. So I'm like, and also quality, how good is the quality? Like, you know. And I'm also getting the itch to start collecting rocks again, stones and rocks and crystals, because I finally got a labradorite stone. Isn't she beautiful? Or he. It, they, them. I think it's non-binary. I think it's a they. Aren't they beautiful? Yeah, I think it's not binary. And I've always wanted a labradorite palm stone, and I will just like hold it and take a few breaths with it to just, if I feel like I need to settle down, you know. Um, I'll pull a card, I'll take a deep breath, and then I'll light some incense, and I'll carry on with my day, you know, if I feel like I need it. Because there was a day a few days back, I pulled the Sun card from the Yohuali Ehekatel Tarot, and that really helped. From this deck here, I pulled the Sun, and I was like, it really helped energize me. And then I took a Celsius, and that also helps. You know, I was like, okay, maybe I do need energy drinks. I guess my body is now reliant on energy drinks now, but I don't want to because it makes me feel too jittery and feel too hyperactive. But yeah. But anyways, that's enough from me. This has been an hour-long chat about nothing but tarot and the occult and horror. I'm a true Scorpio rising on mainstream traditional astrology. In real sky, I'm a Libra rising. But anyways, I'm like, I like my Scorpio rising. I'm like, it matches with the theme of like horror and the occult and magic. I'm like, that's me. But I think I have some 8th house. No, I don't have 8th house placements. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you all think. Oh my gosh! And the final little like promo at the like end of this hour-long video. I joined this website that offers reading services for tarot and divination and all that. It's called Hipsy. I have a link for it in my channel. I think I put a link for it in my description. I'll update it right now. So yeah, go check that out. If you want to support me, you can get a reading there. I'm going to try going live through that platform to see how it is. I believe it will still stream to my YouTube, so you guys can get through it there or something. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna see how it works. So let me know. Go support me. Go get a reading from me if you want. I also am setting up a Fiverr. I have a Fiverr account as well, so you can buy readings from you there. Much more easier than, you know, emailing me and asking me for a reading. You don't have to do that. But yeah, and I'm really going to start pushing, hey, get readings from me. I'm going to offer my services here, please. I need to do more one-on-one services. As fun as live streams are with live tarot readings, I really do need to, let's really have a good one-on-one privately with a client here, because in a live stream you really can't. You're losing something. And it's also, you know, you get what you pay for with my live free readings, because they're free. You get what you pay for. I'm just saying that, you know, and that's what I run my thing. So I'm also offering through my Hipsy a one-on-one service, which is their like beta testing thing, and I'm only charging $1.99 per minute, which I think is a lot, but I'm like, we'll see, because I'm pretty sure Hipsy is taking a cut of that, so I'm like, they'll get, I don't know how much they get out of the cut. I should have done more research on it, but I want to try it out first to see how good of a platform it is. And so, yeah. So anyways, let me know. Hit me up there if you want to do a reading. I'll do a reading for you, you know. And I'm also on my Fiverr. If you do want to pick a deck and you want to request a deck for my readings, that was going to charge you extra, because I am that bitch. Yes. No, I pick the deck. I'm sorry. You don't know what you need. I know what you need. I'm just kidding. No. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I go live again. Wait, I'm not live. When you know when I go live or I upload, don't forget to get a reading from me from my Hipsy or from my Fiverr, or you can, you know, and I think I also, through my live readings, I also have my Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. I fixed my PayPal, finally. Something weird was going on with it, but I fixed it. Don't worry. It's secure now. It's secure. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. I don't know what I'm going to call this video. Yeah. Anyways, bye.